So it looks like your rookie of the year, of course, Victor Wembanyama.
Victor.
He beat out Chat. I mean, I knew what was
Shit.
gonna happen. Uh, you already know this is basically business. This is strictly business. The NBA has been showing you Victor Wembanyama for the longest. They got his alien shoe coming out. They got his alien shoe basically debuting. He's on the Spurs. He's the star of the Spurs.
His now, just to be clear, his alien shoe isn't like his own shoe that was built from scratch. What he is he has his own colorway of an already of a Nike basketball shoe, but they made it like a player edition instead of the back just having like nothing or the Nike logo. They have like the alien head on there because they say that Victor's an alien. So it's just a player edition of a shoe that's already existed. It's not his first pro model, but I believe that probably next year they're gonna have the Victor Wembanyama one, and I'm probably gonna get it, man. I wonder if he's gonna go with the low top or mid top since he's a big. I think he plays in mostly like lows or mids, so it'll be definitely interesting to see. Uh, I was fortunately able to go to like a bunch of Spurs games. I think I went to over like 10 Spurs games this season
Uh huh.
and got to see Victor go up. The rest of his teammates played like garbage and they usually lost between like 5 to 20 points. But Victor's highlights every night, man, like he made it worth it while you were there. Like he was definitely putting on a Sports Center top 10 if you're seeing him live. So, hopefully the Spurs build a team around him and they're able to possibly make the playoffs or play in within the next year or two. Because I think that's probably what from the play in or playoffs. I think it's 1 to 2 years.
Do you think Victor Wembanyama is gonna win Defensive Player of the Year also and be one of the people to win Rookie of the? I want to know who's the. I look it up. People that won Rookie of the
Was that
Year
like
and
Tim
Defensive
Duncan?
Player of the Year in the same time. So it probably could have been Tim Duncan.
I don't even
Let's
know if he did. That's who popped in my head.
sure, we gotta see. But yeah, I mean, it was just by a landslide. I mean, there was no other rookie you can possibly think of
No, here
that
no, but
basically could have won
let me give my piece.
Rookie
So
of the
I
Year.
think Victor was by far the best rookie. Okay, but I'm gonna do a little bit of devil's advocate and say that when you're looking at the MVP at the end of the year for the most valuable player in the league, what are you looking at? You're looking at a team, a player that killed it stats wise, and that was usually a top four team in the East or West. And if they're below that, they're usually not considered because they're like, if they were really the MVP, their team would be better. Now I know rookie of the year, most guys are on trash teams because good rookies go to bad teams. But Chet, being a rookie since he was injured his whole first year and didn't play, so he's still reclassified as a rookie. He was on OKC where every one of his points are important, every one of his plays are important, and probably one of the toughest Western Conference in the last 20 years was one of the top second third option on a team that made it to number one in one of the toughest Western conferences ever. We're getting 50 wins and you're still getting like a 5, 6, 7 seed, even with 50 wins plus. So what do you think about that, co-host? Like, do you think that Chet should have got bonus points for him being on a team that's actually achieving something versus Victor on a team that only won less than 20 games, basically the worst team in the league? So I don't know. I know rookie of the years mostly they're all on bad teams, so you just look at the best player no matter what their team's doing. But I just wonder, do you think Chet got any, or should he have got any bonus points or looked at a little like extra credit since his team achieved so much?
Honestly, I feel like I mean I feel like this is a business. So the fact that yeah, Chat should have won it, but at the same time, Shay's on that team. He's on a
Well, no,
bunch.
I'm just asking like for the different reward awards, is it different rules? Because for
Yeah,
MVP, they clearly look at the where your team is in the standings, but for rookie of the year, they most of them are on bad teams, so that's usually not a factor. But this year it happened to be. I'm just wondering why it wasn't really looked at as a factor.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't looked at as a factor because they want Victor Wembanyama to win it.
Yeah, I think you're right because of the marketing. I think since Nike is the number one, they're the sponsor of the NBA. They make all the jerseys for the whole league and the outfitter. They want their guy to be front and center. Is Chet with Nike or is he with Under Armour? Put it in the
Under
comments
Armour.
below. I'm not sure, but I wonder if this was like, hey, this guy's a phenomenon. He's like the biggest prospect since LeBron James. We have to
They're
give
saying
him.
nobody has ever won. There's never in NBA history been a Rookie of the Year and a defensive player, and there's never been one in the same.
It's never happened before.
Never happened before.
Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, but I mean, so with the Rookie of the Year, I understand why he's winning it. I mean, with that, I feel like to answer your question, with the MVP, it's more about overall how was,
You
did
have
you
to do
make your
good enough
team?
as an individual, but also what did you do for your team?
Yeah, but I feel like when it comes to the like the defensive player of the year or the rookie of the year, it goes to like the scoring championship, the scoring title. Like it's an individual type of thing. It doesn't matter how good the team was; it's how good were you. How many blocks did you do? How many points did you score? Now with the whole rookie of the year, like we said, it's just because Chat's on a balling team. He's not. He's on the team that's everybody's balling, so it's really not. It's really not
They're not
just
giving
him.
him the credit because he has so many good teammates.
Yeah, and it's basically like
Because
how good it really is he, because like the whole with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the AB situation, like when AB left and you had Juju Smith-Schuster, and he said only reason y'all saying he's good is because I'm there, and as soon as he left, I found out the truth. So it's like how good really is Chat. Like if you put Chat on
in Wemby's
this,
shoes, would he would have done any better?
yeah, basically, would he have done any better? Or
Yeah, I
if you
see
put him
what you
on the
mean.
Houston Rockets, will the Houston Rockets be top in the playoffs right now?
Do you have him or Rudy as your defensive player of the year? Because it's like that's another thing. I think of defensive player of the year that if you're playing defense to get a trophy to be the best defensive player in the league, shouldn't your team also be doing good? It's like how can you really be defending on that level if you're losing every game? So I don't know. I mean, I know like you can get the individual stats of like having like 2, 3, 4 blocks a game, and that being maybe a top 5 in the league and maybe getting a lot of rebounds and stuff. But it's almost like the same thing. Does he get any deductions for being on a bad team where Rudy Gobert is on the T Wolves who are right now up 2-0 in the Western Conference semifinals, and does that factor into it at all? Does Rudy get bonus points because his team did good, was a top 3 seed, and made it to the second round? While Victor's team wasn't even a playing team?
I mean, with this one, I feel like they gon' either way it's gonna make me mad. Either way it's gonna make you mad. Either way it's gonna be once again defensive player of the year is gonna be
This will be like Rudy's like what
fourth one,
third or fourth?
fourth one because he won 2018, 2019, and 2021. And NBA All, and he's been 6-time NBA All Defensive Teams. I mean, honestly, with Wemby and his blocks, I feel like he never blocks you straight up. It's always like from the side. He's always a help defender.
He's always the weak side defender.
The weak side defender. So he comes in and just catches you on the side. It catches you from side out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the cheat code. I mean, he did break the record for most blocks as a rookie. I gotta give him that.
But yeah, we've seen when guys actually go at him and he's guarding him one-on-one and he's not the weak side help, that he actually gets abused sometimes. Like Şengün's a decent player, but he's not even an all-star. And he gave Wemby 50.
True.
And the Rockets were like a really bad team as well. So you got a guy from a scrub team dropping 50 on the defensive player of the year.
And then you know what? I think about it also with the whole rookie of the year. Chat knows that if he doesn't score 30 points, his team still has a chance. But with Wemby knows that if he doesn't score at least 25 points, they losing by 60. He has to score 25 to lose by 20.
I really hated, since I watched a lot of Spurs games, I really hated watching Popovich coach. I don't know if he's thinking about Wemby's long-term future or what, but Wemby, if you actually look at his minutes, you actually got to give him a little extra credit, I guess, here, because he wasn't really playing starters minutes. Starters play like 35 minutes a game. A lot of times Wemby's playing like between 25 and 28 minutes a game. So, like sometimes in the fourth quarter would start and you're like, oh, he's going to rest. Maybe he'll come back at like the 6-7 minute mark and play the end of the game. Sometimes he's not coming back into the game until like the 3 minute mark. And you're like, oh, well, They were close. They were within 5 points, and then you put Wemby on the bench, and now they're down 15. So then you're going to put them in for a minute or two, and they're going to go out by 20, and then you're going to pull them out since they're up too much.
I'm not sure if there's like a minute restriction or there's like a minutes restriction in his contract, or is Greg Popovich still
Tanking?
remembering? No, not
maybe they want another number one.
Yeah, maybe they want another number one. That's a choice. Or maybe you remember he went through the whole Yao Ming situation where like he played against Houston Rockets so many times. You've seen the only reason why Yao Ming didn't make it was because he had the foot injury. And when you're this tall and you moving around like he is, he's gonna get injured. So I guess
maybe they thought since he's a rookie, they want to like work him in slowly.
Yeah, work him in slowly so you don't hurt himself, pull anything, hurt anything, and he's tall. So I mean, and you remember Chad? Remember Chad had his foot. His foot got messed up with LeBron James and the whole thing. Game. So with these tall people with their foot, you always gotta pay attention to their feet.
Fasciitis.
You always gotta pay attention to their feet. So you want to keep them off their feet as much as possible. So you have to like find a situation, and he probably don't know how to coach. Like,
not to be a naysayer.
I mean, he knows how to coach, but he doesn't like it's this new age of coaching. Like, he doesn't know like. He's still stuck between, do I want to go with the whole old school way? Have I always been doing it? Or the 2014 Spurs way, or should I go?
I mean, I think he's adapted enough when he had.
They still don't shoot enough threes. They shoot towards the bottom of 3-point attempts.
My only thing I worry about with Wemby is I'll agree with you on the point you were making just a second ago, is that his health. His health is going to be an area of major concern, because I looked it up. But guys that are like taller than 7'2", they typically have like a 6-year career on average. You look at Yao, he was only like good for like 5.5 seasons. You look at like Bol, he was like only good for like 4 or 5 seasons. What's it called? Sean Bradley, I think, was only healthy for a handful of seasons.
Look at Joel Embiid, always in and out. Look at AD, always.
I mean,
always
and they're
not Davis.
They're not even in the range that I'm talking about. But yeah, it's really like anyone above 7 feet, unfortunately, has a history with injuries. I mean, even look at Brook Lopez, who was an all-star when he was on Brooklyn. He had a bunch of injuries that actually kept him out for a handful of years before he got productive again for the Bucks.
True. So I mean, yeah, it's just a lot of things that they could possibly be doing, but
yeah, when you're over 7'2", like, unfortunately, his history has shown that you play less than 10 years in the league.
Yep.
You play like you'll be lucky if you're playing like 8-9 years. That's like the long range, but a lot of guys end up playing only 4 or 5 years. So hopefully they're doing everything to bulk him up and keep his flexibility up so he could be in the league for a long time.
True, but we already know how that. Hopefully they have a whole better medical staff than they did when Kawhi Leonard was there. Because remember Kawhi Leonard?
No, that's Kawhi being paranoid and having his own medical staff.
I can picture it now, man. In 7 more years, you're finna see Tony Parker coming on there and be like, he's soft, just like Kawhi.
Oh yeah,
he's soft.
That was crazy.
Manu.
Was that a bigger call out than the Kendrick and Drake disses?
Yeah.
When Tony Parker said he was soft?
Yeah, cause I didn't even expect Tony to do that. That was
when he was like, I don't know, I had a way lesser injury and I came back way before.
Yeah. True.
And then Kawhi was like, trade me.
Oh, Lord.
And then he showed him and he's like, I won a championship in Canada for Drake. And then immediately afterwards, it's like injured.
That's all he had left. Was that it? That was pretty much it. He got three rings? Why?
3 or 2. So I know he got. Was it just one with the Spurs?
Probably just one.
Yeah. Because I think they won one, lost one. Because they lost one to the. They lost one to the Heat because of Ray Allen. Hit the shot to save it, and then they came back and won, and then after that, I think the Spurs swept them.
Let me see. Yeah, I think you is right. 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-Team.
He's 2-1 in the Finals. Yeah.
Okay. But
he won one, lost one against LeBron. But man, when they played, it was so funny. Is that they barely beat the Spurs that first year against the Spurs, and then that second year, these Spurs spanked them.
Yeah, cheated.
Spanked them back.
Yeah, smoked the dog out.
Dwayne, yeah, that happened. Oh, sorry, I forgot to bring us back on screen. But Dwayne Wade looked like a bum. Like he was already starting to age,
Yeah,
like where
he
he
had
was
bad
gonna
knees by that
retire
time.
in like 2 or 3 years. Like he was already done.
He really should have took the Chris Bosh role.
Remember when he went to Chicago for a little bit,
It's horrible. He just
and then
wanted
he
to go
went
back
to
home.
and then he went to Cleveland to try to help LeBron, and then he was like,
And then
"I
LeBron kicked
can't
him all
do
off
it."
the team.
Yeah, they needed a
He
walker.
cut
For him.
everybody off. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Sorry, Dwayne Wade. But moving
Dwayne
on.
Wade is the original Donovan Mitchell, like the 6'4" shooting guard. You're like he's a little undersized, but like he's muscular and athletic enough that it doesn't
Dwayne
matter.
Wade was a lot bigger than what's the name?
Who?
Than Donovan Mitchell.
They're the same height.
Talk about bulk wise.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you didn't want to run through Dwayne Wade. You didn't want to be there when Dwayne Wade was cut through, being the Flash, cut through the hoop.
I remember that one like MVP season he had after the Olympics in 2012. I think it was like the 2013 season. He was absolutely amazing. And but the one thing I remember is he was averaging like 35 points a game, and they went against the Lakers, and he was giving it to Kobe, and then like the Lakers like ended up like getting it to like 2, and then Kobe did like a wild 3 where Dwayne Wade played perfect defense on him and he banked it in. And the Lakers won. And it was like, God dang, I had like 40 points, 15 assists, and we still lost.
It's horrible.